What up, Screen Fiends? I'm GB, and you're tuned in to Headz TV, where we like to discuss all the wonderful things appearing on your movie and your TV screens. Today, I wanted to have another Walking Dead Season 7 discussion, only it's not going to be me trashing the show. There'll be plenty of more of those videos to come. This is more of a theory or something that I cooked up in my own crazy brain while rewatching Season 7 in order to give you guys the full review of the season. So this has to do with the Walking Dead Season 7 titles of the episodes. I think it's just like whether it's true or not, it's a juicy little nugget to think about. It's not any serious discussion or something that's going to be completely mind-blowing, but it's nice to know that the creative team, if this is true, the thought that they put into crafting the episodes, even all the way down to the title of the episodes. Now, it could be the fanboy in me reaching for, for things, but I think it does give some validity to my claim that Scott Gimple and the creative team, they do creative they do everyone do-dos they do creative things with the titles of the episodes. Even before Scott Gimple was showrunner, they did creative things. But since Gimple has been on as showrunner since season 4, the episode titles have not only to do with the themes and what's going on in the episode, but they're actually in the episode, whether it be through dialogue, signs, scenery, whatever. The episode titles are conveyed in many, many ways. Sometimes it's multiple story threads in an episode, or multiple themes in an episode can have to do with the titles. So, though this may be reaching from a fan to try and just pick little interesting things out of something that you love, you have to take it into consideration that the creative team thinks of these things also. So there may be some truth to what I'm about to say. All right, that's enough of a 2-minute and 15-second introduction. Let's get into it. So season 7, so what this video really has to do with is how each episode title ties in to a corresponding season, and they take place in order. So for instance, season 7 episode 1 is The Day Will Come When You Won't Be. Now, those of us who are crazy people and pick apart a show down to the bone, or if you're someone who Googles a lot, you'll know that the day will come when you won't be is a line that Jenner from the CDC says to Rick in season 1 after Rick thanks him for saving their lives, or whatever Rick says to Jenner. Jenner's response to him is, well, the day will come when you're not grateful for me saving. The day will come when you won't be grateful for me saving your lives. So that ties in perfectly with season 1. So now episode 2 is called The Well. Those of you who are familiar with season 2, you still remember what went on. There was a pretty cool scene with Glenn and a well, and a pretty gnarly walker in that well. I tried to think of maybe some others from season 2 that would tie in with the well, and I can't really think of too many. So I guess I'm going to have to leave that one where it is. Same for season 3. Episode 3 is called The Cell. Obvious. Season 3 took place in a prison where they were all living in cells. So there you go. That's a cell. And then if you really want to get philosophical with it, if you think about it, the governor's camp was a cell of sorts. Because he wasn't letting people leave on their own free will. He was giving people the illusion that it was a community and everyone had say in all this. But it was really a one giant walled-in cell that the governor had created for himself and his community of Woodbury. So that's episode 3. Episode 4, you have Service. This one was a little tricky for me. I had to really think about season 4 and where service comes into play. And I came up with a couple. So we have at the prison where everyone gets sick. And Herschel, our good buddy Herschel, rest in peace, provides a service for these people as far as medical goes, a medical service. He's trying to not only make them feel comfortable if this is going to be their last days, but he's also taking care of them once they die, putting their, hitting them in the head so that they don't turn. And he's trying to give them medicine to get them better. So he's servicing these people, right? Not just Herschel, but Sasha helps out with that, and Glenn helps out with that. But right there, you have that. And then we have Carol providing a service for the people of the prison community in killing Karen and David and trying to stop the Walker, trying to stop the disease from spreading, right? The sickness, whatever you want to call it. And then you have that. And then you have the second half of season 4, where we don't really get too much of service in there, until in my opinion, I could be missing something. In the finale, they get to Terminus, Rick and Carl, and basically Terminus is saying that they're providing a service, right? So come to our sanctuary, we will save you, we will help service your needs of survival, come to us. And then they try and actually literally serve, we assume it's human meat because we don't see any other type of meat in Terminus. So they try and serve Carl and the rest of the group the human meat. And they were probably going to try and, because what I get from the Terminus people is they try and pick certain people they think would be useful and give them the option to either join us or feed us. I'm pretty sure Gareth might even say those words. So they want Rick to service their needs as well, either in being food or in being part of their community. So, yeah, to me, this is all mind-blowing stuff. You may not look at it as deeply as I do, but to me, it's all mind-blowing stuff. Then we have episode 5, which is Go-Getters. Season 5, Go-Getters. The community, Terminus, they're go-getters trying to go and get the community back. And then the community turns the tables and they go and get the Terminus, right? Carol goes and she's a go-getter, goes and gets her group out of Terminus. Then the group spends a large portion of the season where they're go-getters in the way of they're traveling and they're trying to survive. So they're going to get somewhere, as well as going to get food and going to get shelter and going to get water and these things to help them survive, right? Then they finally get to Alexandria, right? So they finally prove that they're go-getters. They're capable. They're capable of getting from all the way from Atlanta to Virginia in the zombie apocalypse. So this is big, right? This proves that they're go-getters. And that's their point to, well, Aaron's point, everyone's point to the community on how they're valuable and how they can be valued members of Alexandria because they're go-getters. There's even episodes where it's all about the scavenger groups, Glenn and Noah and Nicholas and Aiden, how they're all like the go-getters for the groups. They're the ones that go out and get the supplies to bring back. So we have another big season 5 thing, right? Okay. And is there any more in season 5? Well, you have the wolves. The wolves are go-getters in their own right. The way they produce for themselves is they go out and get walkers, they get food. Granted, they steal them. Everyone is a go-getter in this world or you die, right? But the wolves are go-getters to the extreme. And Morgan, too, can be considered a go-getter because look at what he goes and gets accomplished in trailing the group all the way to Alexandria, right? Okay. So then we have Swear. This was the trickiest one for me. And and the next one too was super tricky. So these two I'm gonna kind of say, take with a super grain of salt because I was really reaching. So Swear, we have Negan who swears a lot. We have Maggie and Glenn swearing to not be apart, separate from each other. Excuse me. What else in season 6 do we have that leads us where? I don't know. I want to say the people. You learn that Negan's people swear their allegiance to Negan. They're all Negan, right? So that's like super hyped up. Swearing your allegiance to somebody is actually saying that you're them. You're an extension of them, right? What else do we have? Season 6. I don't know. I really think that's it. Like I said, I was really, really reaching for that one with swear, but I'm probably missing things because I think this theory is totally valid. All right. And then we move on to episode 7, which would be season 7. Now, this one was difficult, so I was thinking maybe that this was the one where they kind of skipped because it was the current season and they kind of just made it about the episode and not about past seasons. But if you think about it, there's something called a swan song, which is like on somebody's going out, you know. It's when they're dying, you know, it's their swan song, their final, you know, their final journey, their final part of the story or to life or whatever. So Sing Me a Song, Glenn and Abraham's swan song, they died in season 7. Also now we know Sasha too dies season 7. So it's kind of a swan song. I don't know. I would say this season was a little bit downer, sadder, you know, like many songs are. But I don't really know about that one, so, you know, take it for what it is. Now we'll move on to episode 8, Heart Still Beating. Now you can look at this as season 8, what's going to happen after season 7, or you can look at it as they skipped Sing Me a Song in this theory and went right to 8 with Heart Still Beating, right? So if you look at it from season 7 or season 8 standpoint, Heart Still Beating, yes, members of the group die. They die all the time, but there are hearts still beating. We're still going on. We're still doing what we have to do to survive, no matter what. So I think that one kind of goes for season 7 and, you know, forward beyond season 8. But like I said, take it for what it is. Now we'll get into the second half. I'll try and run through these quick. I know the video's getting long. All right, so we have Rockin The Road for episode 9. So now I'm thinking for the second half, we go back to season 1, but I have 2 theories about the second half. We either go back to season 1 and start all over, but that one, it's a little rough, but I'm going to go through it anyway. Or if you look at all the titles for the second half of season 7, it basically lays out all of what season 7 is about in the titles. So first, let's keep it with my first theory on how it's the prior seasons, right? So episode 9 goes back to season 1. So that's a Rockin The Road. So season 1 is all about the Rockin The Road. Rick trying to find his family, and all the walkers are his Rockin The Road. This whole obstacle, the way this world has become, is a Rockin The Road. He goes to Atlanta, and you know there's a rock in the road. He comes across all those walkers. So if you really look at season 1, that's what season 1's all about. You know, it's all about this obstacle that's in their way. They even make it to CDC at the end and just find out that it's another rock in the road, right? Okay, so now we have episode 10, New Best Friends. So you go to season 2, and you have new best friends. They meet Maggie, Herschel, Beth, that community that becomes family. They become new best friends. They become part of the group, right? Okay, then you have episode 11, Hostiles and Calamities. This goes into season 3, where people really become a huge threat. That's your Hostiles. Plus, you have all the Walker stuff. That's your Calamities. So you have tons of Calamities and tons of Hostiles in season 3. That's what season 3 is all about. The human versus human conflict. They go against humans at the prison. They go against the governor in them. And then there's all the Walker stuff in there, okay? All right, now we got Say Yes. This was a tricky one, but season 4, Say Yes. Okay, the governor wants them to say yes and leave the prison. And Rick, in Too Far Gone, and Rick wants the governor to say yes and move into the prison and try and work things out and work together as a community. The Terminus people want Rick and them to say yes and join the community and eat the meat and all that, and that doesn't happen. The Joe and the Claimers, they want Daryl to say yes and become part of their group. So, you know, we have all of that. Now we go to episode 13, which is Bury Me Here. This would be season 5. We see 2 group members get buried in season 5. We see Tyrese get buried. We see Beth get buried. So bury me here. There you go. There might be even more of them. I'm trying to get through this quicker than 20 minutes. Sorry, guys. All right, then we have The Other Side, which would be episode 14. That would be season 6. Think about it. The Other Side. There's walkers on the other side of the wall. Some of our group members are trapped on the other side of the wall. There's a greater threat in the saviors and the wolves on the other side of the wall. The wolves come from the other side of the wall. We get a really good look at other communities and how they're surviving. So the other side of survival in the saviors, in the wolves. And then we even get the other side of Alexandria, the people in Alexandria that have a problem with Rick, that aren't seeing his side, they're seeing the other side of the story. So we have all these other sides for season 6, right? And then now episode 15 is Something They Need, which leads us to season 7, where we currently are. Something They Need is what the season 7 is about. They're after something. The whole season, they're trying to find a way to get away from Negan. They're trying to find what they need to get away from Negan. And what do they need? They need people. Something they need. They need guns. Something they need. They need food and supplies. Something they need. So, and then even Negan's crew can tie into something they need. These people have stuff we need. And this is how we get it. We bully them and extort them out of it. Boom. And then you have the first day of the rest of your lives, which will be after season 7, right? So it'll be going forward. So season 8 is starting the first day of the rest of our lives, where we're fighting back, fighting for freedom, fighting for society, civilization. Boom. I like this theory. It's mind-blowing to me. I hope you guys sat through the whole video. I really do. And then real quick, if you look at my second part of the second half's theory, how this can really break down season 7 and what it's all about. So they start off with a Rockin The Road with Negan, and they're looking for new best friends as far as an army, people to join them. They even find new best friends all throughout the whole season, with the kingdom, with the hilltop, etc., etc. And then they have to deal with these hostiles and calamities. They have to deal with the Walker situation, the shortage of food, which would be calamities. They have to deal with Negan and all these other people, the junkyard community, the ocean side, that's hostiles. And then you have Say Yes. They're trying to get other people to say yes into helping them, right? And then you have Bury Me Here, which gets a little bit tricky, but people die this season. So not really so tricky, really. And there's a lot of burying. There's a lot of graves. We see that a lot throughout this season. Just sprinkled out. The talk of burying versus burning, seeing actual graves, and then the people dying, right? All right, so then and then the other side is we see both sides of this fight. We're learning about the enemy, the saviors, as well as learning more about our group and these other heroes. So we're learning about all these other sides and their points of view and how they lead their communities and why they are the way they are. We're getting the other side of the argument, right? And then Something They Need. Obviously, I said this one already. This season is all about something they need. From every human character in this season is after something they need. Many of them may have the same thing they're after, but still something they need. And then the first day of the rest of your life. This can be said for the beginning of the season as well as the end of the season. The first day of the rest of your life and the beginning of the season this is the first day now that you're going to have to deal with Negan. You have to deal with all this shit, the loss, the extortion, the coming up with the extra supplies, all this stuff that you have to deal with. It's like the first day of the rest of your lives. Is this what the rest of our lives is going to be like, right? And then at the end of the season, you get it from a different standpoint, that now we have to fight back. And yes, it's going to be war and it's going to be hell, but it will lead to the first day of the rest of our lives. It will lead to the annihilation of Negan, hopefully, and bringing society back and bringing civilization back to the way it should be, with people working together and with good people prevailing over bad people in the world. I know you may have different standpoints in this in life, but whatever. All right, that's my theory on the titles. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Sound off down below. Let me know what you think about this theory. Let me know if you think it's true, it isn't true, I'm full of shit, I'm reaching. Let me know. Or if you find other things throughout seasons and episodes that you want to talk about with the titles, chime on in down below. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff if you like the video and you want to be part of the Screen Fiend fam. That way the videos get sent right to your notifications and you ain't even got to look for my ugly mug. Alright, that's it for this video. Way too long, I'm sorry, but this one really was weighing on my head the last couple of days. I had to get it out there no matter how long it took. Maybe I should have split it up in 2 parts. Anyway, that's it for this vid. You guys have a great day, and I will see you next time.